Before we get going, Outside the Chute would like to thank one of their sponsors, Coldstream Clear. Have you tried the new strawberry kiwi? Man, this stuff is good. Ditch the sugar with a fresh and flavorful vodka soda. Is iced tea your drink of choice? Well, Coldstream has both peach and lemon flavor. Taste the real tea difference. The only truly local hard iced tea made in the hub of Nova Scotia. Or maybe you're into mixing your own drinks. Coldstream has a huge selection of rum, vodka, liqueurs, and the must-try coffee rum cream. Visit them online at coldstreamclear.com and check out their amazing selections. Look for new products around all Atlantic provinces in the coming months, and they ship all across Canada. Again, that's coldstreamclear.com, Nova Scotia's original. Hey, another week has come and gone. Hope everybody had a fantastic weekend. Welcome to episode 33 of Outside the Chute. I'm your host, Randy Frame. A few things to touch on before we get to our guest. Outside the Chute would like to congratulate Anastasia Armillo of Albuquerque, New Mexico on winning an OTC t-shirt for being our 1,000th follower on Twitter this week. Thanks for following us, Anna. Definitely appreciate it. If you are on Twitter, Instagram, and even TikTok, why not give us a follow? Our handle is, of course, at Outside the Chute on all platforms. Got nothing on the go this upcoming Saturday night? Well, if you're into poker and have $30 to spend, the East Hants Macedon Senior Men's Team is putting on another poker tournament on coolbet.com at 7 p.m. Atlantic. All you have to do is go on coolbet.com, create an account, look for the tournament named Mastodon's Fundraiser, and sign up. The tournament password is DONS2021. That's DONS 2021, all lowercase. We've had some big cash prizes the last two. Let's see if we can get it bigger this Saturday night at 7 p.m. Atlantic. On to this week's guest, and we sat down and chatted with men's Canadian national team member and North Vancouver native Derek Mayson. Mayse has had a storied career so far, dating back to the Canada Games in 2001. He's a 5-time ISC All World selection, 2015 Pan Am Gold Medalist, 2015 ISF World Champion, as well as the 2007 Canadian Senior Men's National Champion, just to name a few. We're going to talk to Mayse about getting a start in the game out in BC, his time with the Vancouver Grey Sox, which led to a national title in 2007, being named to the Canadian national team, as well as his struggles he had mentally for a few years, which has led to the formation of locked-in mental training, which Derek successfully runs to this day. This was an awesome interview with one of the all-around great guys in the game today, and I'm sure you're all going to enjoy this episode. So as usual, grab that drink, sit back, relax, cause here we go.
I got the world in my palm, lights, camera, action, it's on. I can't describe what I'm feeling, ain't never felt this freedom. I got the world in my palm, lights, camera, action, it's on. Ain't never felt this freedom. Could you say that anything goes, anything goes, anything goes, anything goes, anything goes, anything goes. You want it only real deal hip hop.
Hi, Randy. I beat you to the punch.
Holy frig! I was going to say classified, but...
Sorry, classified.
Classified. Hello.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good, man. Good,
Excellent.
man. Yeah. You, busy day today for you.
Yeah. Actually moved both my daughters out of university today, out of residence. I'm sorry. They're doing all their courses online. They were at first semester as well, but residence life is not what it's supposed to be when you're confined to your rooms and you can't even meet in a common area without masks and all that stuff. So, not that they weren't enjoying being down there, but it's just not the same, and they want to save some money.
Yeah, exactly.
I am proud of the fact that they want to save some money because it's costing me a motherfucking pile of money.
Yeah, no doubt.
But anyway, we moved them home today, so that was not fun.
Yeah, that'd be really weird, first year university and having to go through all this.
Yeah, health is important for everyone for sure, but this whole, they didn't have a prom, they didn't really have a graduation. They didn't even write exams for finals, which they didn't mind, but and then to move into university and then not really have anybody in class. They didn't really meet anybody outside of their East Hants family that they already have down there.
Right.
So it was a bit mixed up for sure, but it'll be okay once health is all back to normal, and they're moving into an apartment next May, I believe, or this May.
Right on.
So hopefully they'll be in class next semester. Next year. Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. Fingers crossed anyway. Yeah.
Goes right here.
And they're costing us a goddamn fortune being home, though. I'll tell you that. They eat like there's no tomorrow.
I'm sure they'll love hearing you say that they eat like there's no tomorrow. But,
yeah. Oh, well.
Anyway, we had fun last night.
Yeah, man. It was so much fun.
Mastodon's poker tournament. Yeah, it was one thing that I hated, though.
Yeah, let's talk about it because I hated it too.
Oh, my God. It seemed like every time I would fold, whether it would be like, the obvious, 6-4, you're folding on a 6-4.
Yeah.
The flop happens and 2 6s and a 4 come out. You're like, what the hell?
Yeah, it happens to me all the time. I said to you earlier.
Yeah.
I went out, I just folded because I had a king 10 offsuit. So it's not really a hand you play. And I wasn't in the big blind or small blind. Yeah. So I said, fuck it, I'll fold it. And then the flop comes up. First 2 cards, 2 kings. It's like I would have had trip kings. I could have probably, went all in and lost my money again. But at the same time, I guess that's the way poker's played. So I don't know enough about it to be.
But then that fourth king come up.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah. I was like, 4 kings for fuck's sakes. Yeah. Yeah. Could have been a hero.
But Izzy took home the big prize. Beat out Sandy.
He did, yeah. It's funny because I took Sandy out last time we played, so it's kind of fun to take Sandy out. The hell with him.
Hell with him. Won't come on the podcast.
Yeah, that's right. We'll get him on.
Sandy, you're hearing this.
Yeah, you are. But Izzy, I'm glad. Izzy's, the last time I saw Izzy play poker, we were actually at Nationals in Charlottetown. This would have been when I was with the Brookfield Elks at the time, actually, and Izzy had a few pops, a few too many. We were already beat out, and we're playing poker, and he's sitting at a table, and he lost the hand and flipped the fucking table. Yeah, we could not control that guy.
That's amazing.
You were there, actually.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, we won't go into that story, but anyway, awesome. Continue on.
Yeah, anyway. Yeah, we'll skip that one. Anyway, big guest today. We got Mayse coming on, Derek Mayson.
Big Mayse man, yeah.
Yes, sir. Actually, I'm going to bring it up to him. My first ever game at Senior Nationals was against Vancouver in 2007 against Mayson. Them. He had a big tournament, finishing top batter, and
he was only Canadian. A kid.
Yeah, 23 years old. Jesus. So I'll bring that up to him. But,
amazing. Yeah,
it's going to be fun to go through his career and hear all his stories.
Yeah, and what he has going on with his life too. I know with his mental training and all that good stuff, and the fact that the team he's currently with, Souk, are they're the next up and coming for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, they have been for the last couple of years.
Yeah, we'll definitely get in that with him. Anyway, sure. So let's get to him.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, here we go. Mayse, thanks for coming on the podcast, buddy.
Thanks for having me. You know what? It's been a long time since I've been able to talk ball with some of the lads. So this is a welcome treat. So I was looking forward to it. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Super excited to have you.
Yeah. How's yourself, Jen Rose, and Joe making out in beautiful BC?
As well as you can, considering the times, I think. We're kind of looking back to last March when everything started, right? And back when daycares were shut, and both my wife and I were working from home and kind of cramped spaces here, and we're thinking, okay, well, things could be worse right now. It could be last March, and we could be all over each other's toes like then.
Yeah.
So, all things considered, though, whole family's healthy and doing well, so can't complain that way.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Did you get any ball in over the past summer?
Yeah, very little. Rich Haldane up in Kelowna, he was great in keeping a Kelowna tournament going. So we were able to get up there for the Canada Day weekend to kick things off. And it was the first time for most of us even just getting our stuff out of the bag. So a true icebreaker in the middle of summer. And then we scratched and clawed in our local league to ensure that we had some park time. And I think we got 11 or 12 games in locally in our league. And then we're all set to do playoffs, and things started to pick up in the COVID front, and we lost our park permit. So we were just kind of left hanging there before we were going to have a weekend playoff tournament, but everything got shut down.
Right on. So how are the cases, like, are they still going up out there in Vancouver?
It's not too bad. It's kind of in the 450, 550 range. So,
okay.
I mean, compared to, Ontario and Quebec, it's definitely a lot better. But compared to the summer, we were single digits. So, it is what it is, given that it's the winter. It's the time when it's going to go up. But all things considered, I think BC's done a really good job with it. Like everywhere else, there's a lot of fatigue with it, but I'm just hoping everyone stays diligent and sees this sort of, we got a while ways to go, but I think we can hack it a little bit longer.
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully, like you said, everybody's diligent. That's the main thing.
Well, they have to be because we want to play ball next summer or this summer. I'm sorry.
Summer, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly. Although I think our premier is trying to lock out everyone from every other province. So I'm not sure what that means as far as us traveling from here, but we'll see.
I know. Gosh.
Yeah. Anyway, Mayse, as every guest, as I'm sure you know, when and where did you get your start in the game?
Yeah. So I'm born and raised in North Vancouver, BC. And I have two older brothers. Scott's my oldest brother and Brian's middle brother. They're both heavily in the ball. My dad was I'm the executive of the local North Van Association, and my mom was helping coaching. And I'm told the story of being on the ball field at 10 days old as one of my parents is coaching one kid, the other parent's coaching the other, and I was in the sling or whatever. So fortunate to really grow up in a ball family, and right from day 10, I guess, experiencing it here. So fortunate that at the time, North Van, we actually had a bigger fast pitch organization compared to baseball at the time. And so, we didn't have to leave our town to play our house ball or anything like that. At Light and Peanuts and stuff like that. It was 6-8 teams deep, and then into rep ball, just traveled around the Lower Mainland with our North Van team.
Nice.
That's pretty rare to hear that, especially in Vancouver, that the fast pitch would have been higher numbers than baseball.
Yeah. Especially, ball is it's kind of been traditionally a small town sport, but it's kind of a niche game on the North Shore here, I guess. And our group was pretty successful as we went along. I think we were the first ones to win a provincial title for the association, and we did that a few times, and progressed all the way through with kind of a similar age group of local buddies. And the most satisfying thing for me was was fortunate to go through the provincial program for Western Canada Summer Games and Canada Summer Games. And coming out of the Canada Games, the core group there, we were mainly second or first year midgets, and we decided, okay, let's stick together and we're going to take a run at nationals next year.
Yeah.
So that was my second year midget, and then everyone kind of aged out and that team was done. So I was able to reconnect with my North Van crew, and we made another run to nationals the next year and got a silver there. And
nice.
that was really rewarding to be able to connect with the local guys, and a lot of them hadn't had that sort of experience at the highest level. And so to experience that with them was super rewarding.
Yeah, actually, funny you mentioned the Canada Games there, and I was saying to Hopi before we come on, I was like, Mayse went to the Canada Games as well, and it's crazy the amount of guys that and girls that we've had on here that competed at the Canada Games.
Yeah, they didn't just have it one year, Randy.
Yeah. No, I know.
It was only Randy's year.
I was actually really fortunate because my older brother Brian, he was the cycle before me. So in 95, I guess, he went to the Western Canada Summer Games with Team BC, and that's kind of your first exposure outside there is a BC Summer Games, but to that, you're seeing players from other provinces, and kind of exposes you to this wider world of ball. You're like, oh wow, they play it elsewhere, cool. And so I was able to crack that. And then actually when they went to the Canada Summer Games in 97 in London, again, I was like the super fan tagging along, being able to witness that and experience it and be at the opening ceremonies and see all this competition. And that really fueled my desire to follow in his footsteps and get to that level. And so looking back at that Canada Games experience, it is a true formative event in our career as players, I think, just because, it's the biggest event you're going to see in that age group. For most of the people on that team, that was the peak of their career, because a lot of guys, they maybe went on to a little bit of junior, but not a lot of guys carried on to the big depths of ball. So it is a really big event. And I was actually fortunate recently that Doug Allen is coaching Team BC out here. He's the national team coach. He asked me to, put a little video message together for the guys that are in the program and looking to go there, and kind of just said that nice. Take advantage of this opportunity. It's something that you're going to look back on very fondly.
Oh, absolutely. Now, were you only 17 at those games? Yeah. Jeez. Yeah,
I was
that must have been
first year midget for that.
That must have been an eye opener for you.
You're still in the slinger.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think I did a little bit of throwing there. I was 17. The majority of the group was 18. And I think a guy like Eric Reisinger, he was on the junior national team that cycle. He was our 19-year-old. We may have only had, and Brian Banner, a couple guys. But one thing I do remember from the Canada Games, so we were in the London games, but playing in St. Thomas, and but we were staying at Western in London, and so we had it must have been a semi-final game, because it ended up being our last. Must have been like a 9 a.m. game or something like that, 9:30, and I remember being told the time that we were leaving on the bus, and I was like, that seems incredibly late. Like it was like 8:00 or something like that, like an hour before the game. I'm like, do the math here. It's like a 45-minute drive from London to St. Thomas.
That's right. Yeah.
So anyways, something somewhere got messed up, and we got there, and Saskatchewan was like fully warmed up and like in their team huddle, and we're walking into the field, and Doug Chase like, Mayse, you're starting to warm up. Like, okay.
I still got my goddamn flip-flops on.
Get lit up by Saskatchewan.
Oh,
yeah.
Shit.
Wow.
Yeah, unfortunate way to go out.
That's incredible. You mentioned the silver medal at the Midget Nationals there in 2003. What do you recall about that, Nats, in Summerside?
Well, it was super unique in that, we never played in a tournament where we're kind of the only thing going on in town. No offense to Summerside, but a national tournament coming to Summerside was, there wasn't a whole lot else going on in the dog days of summer. And so we had some great crowds, being the locals, kind of very typical, overly nice Atlantic folk, asking about the tournaments and everything like that. So super great hosts. And I remember we played Elmira in the finals. Danny Martin, Benny Weidman would have been on that team. Bunch of other names that probably still are kicking around the sport. And I remember we were up 3-2, I want to say, and I shook my catcher off for a pitch. Next pitch, guy lines one, scores two. We go down 4-3, and I ended up being the last line out to right field. So,
shit.
And for me, it was the second silver in a row. We'd lost 1-0 in the final to you boys at Nova Scotia off a 7th inning solo shot by a guy by the name of Trevor Boutelier.
Bootsy.
You know the name? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we know Bootsy.
It was, back-to-back silvers, a real kick in the teeth, and not getting over the hump in midget, at least. That was a tough one. But again, being with the local crew and everything like that, it was a great experience, and something that we all kind of look back fondly now.
Yeah, well, that must have been your only mistake, because you got named top pitcher of the tournament, didn't you?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, they take that after the round robin, so maybe they didn't take into account the fifth last pitch of the event.
That's right.
I do remember from that one, we were playing Newfoundland there, and they had the strictest pitching rule back then. And I don't know if it was just for that year or what, but Hilly was getting called, like they were calling double plants. Like back then, I
remember. Yeah,
I used to push and drag like Barkman, so I was fine. But Hilly was getting called, and he was getting so choked. And Saki Jesse Evely was playing short. At one point, I've never seen this before. Saki turned his hat around backwards so he could get closer to the umpire's face, yelling at him. It was so amazing.
Crazy news.
Yeah, I love that. I love it.
I want to say I struck Hilly out a bunch of times, but he probably hit a bomb on.
Say it anyway. Yeah. We like chirping Hilly. Love the guy, but we love chirping him.
Oh man, I was gonna say, if Lolly had been playing, he would definitely got kicked out of that game.
Oh god, yeah.
He would have been kicked out of the complex.
Kicked off the island.
Yeah.
Oh, frig. So 2005, you take home top batter award at the U23 Nationals, as well as play your first senior nats with the Vancouver Grey Sox in St. Thomas. That must have been pretty cool as a 21-year-old.
Yeah, to follow up, and actually the year before, the Grey Sox had made an awesome run in St. Croix, Nova Scotia there. My brother was on that team, and that was probably his last Nationals that he played. They ended up running into Dino in the final, and Dino threw a no-hitter and had the only RBI of the game, a 1-0 victory over the Grey Sox.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
I was able to come into a really good team, which is awesome. And, have come in with John Stewart as head coach. He had just coached me the year before in junior in 2004. And that was really my first experience with him, and just saw him as the ultimate players coach and super supportive, and really brought me along with a lot of confidence to step into, a key role with the Sox at that time. So it was eye opener. I remember that was probably the first time I faced Darren Zach. At the time, still wide eyed and looking at this legend of the game. He was throwing this stupid low change up rises ball that screwed me into the ground.
You and a lot of other guys.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, exactly. And I think he actually batted against us and had a hit or two.
No way.
Really? Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's crazy. I'd never seen him hit.
The bat would look like a chopstick in his hands.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, it was a slapper, obviously.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. How'd you guys do with that 2005 Nationals?
2005, I want to say probably fifth, sixth, kind of in that range. That was an era of some really strong teams coming out of Ontario, and remember first ABs against the likes of Frank Cox and Todd Martin and Dino and stuff like that. So we had a deep team, but in the end, we didn't progress as far as we wanted to, at least out of that tournament.
Right on. 2006, that would be pretty good year for you. You playing your first ISCs. What do you remember about that first ISCs?
Well, that, just looking back, that was County. That might have been their last run at things. So to be able to see teams like that, I remember the Patsies and just kind of being awestruck at these guys. They just looked like a professional team.
Yeah.
Awesome uniforms with Rona and Louis Jogular and stuff. They looked like an NFL offensive or defensive line. Like, they were massive. And the full field of teams, looking back then, it is a absolute roster of high quality teams back then. So, I don't think the Sox had been to an ISCs for a while. And so we got out of the gates with a 2-0 start. And, I think from there you get into that winner's bracket side, and it was either 06 or 07. I remember we were playing what were they called? The River Shark Twins, or Aurelia something.
Aurelia,
yeah.
Aurelia, that's right,
Yeah. And, they had the likes of Todd Martin and who else, would maybe Cordy with them. And then there's this little guy, Don Scott. And we see this little guy, Don Scott, warming up. Like, who the hell is this guy? Never seen this guy before.
Yeah.
Then he throws the ball.
Zing, zing, zing,
Oh
zing.
my God. Yeah. And he just threw an absolute bullets at us.
Yeah.
How is something so hard coming out of such a short guy? He did that for a long, long time.
Yeah, for sure.
And from there, we were 0-2, and it made for 4 games in a week, and what felt like a good start diminished pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. Now, that same year, you'd represent Canada for the first time at 22 years of age at the Americans qualifier. How big a thrill was that for you?
That was the ultimate. Like, that was always my goal. As soon as I knew that, there was the opportunity to be in that conversation with the national team. Again, I always kind of bring it back to Brian, my brother, and kind of seeing his footsteps. And he was in the development pool. And I believe he was actually invited for the 04 Worlds for New Zealand. And he was just getting into med school at the time. And he went to the med school and said, hey, I have this great opportunity to represent Canada at the World Championships. Would you mind if I took a little time off? And he said, well, do you want to be a doctor? I said, yeah. Well, I guess you're not going then. All right.
Shit.
So
that's not like Grey's Anatomy.
For me, it was, So for me, it was kind of, not redemption, but like extra special to be able to represent the family and have that experience with so many veteran guys who've been part of the program and seen world championships and been so close. So, and then come along with some local guys like Kevin Schellenberg. He was along, Scott Newitt, Nick Underhill, all in that Grey Sox family. So to be able to make that beginning with that crew was super special.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt. Now, 2007 was I'd say a pretty big year for you. You guys won the senior nationals in St. John's. You were named top batter of the qualifying round as well as All-Canadian at first base. How awesome was that? Especially at such a young age to win that first senior nats.
That was amazing. We all talk about how well Newfoundland does at hosting events and the passion they have for their teams and the support, and it lived up to the billing as far as the atmosphere and to be on the end of some pretty awesome and hilarious taunts and chants from the crowd was pretty sweet. Sometimes you had to bite your lip to not laugh out loud at some of the things they were saying, but that whole time we came together as a team, and we really hopped on the back of Corey Giroux. Like, that was the year of Giroux.
He was lights out,
dominating the ISCs, and then when he came to nationals, it was just unbelievably dominant. I don't think to that point, and maybe even still, I don't think I've seen a ball break more down, up, or to the side. He was just an absolute force.
Yeah. Plus, then you had Nick right behind him.
Yeah.
And man, I was telling Hopi before we went on. I said my first ever senior nationals game pitched was against you guys at that nationals. You guys beat us 3-1.
Okay.
Yeah, I threw a 4-hitter against you, and you went 1 for 2 with a walk. Just a fun fact.
Fucking Randy.
Did you like secretly have like a GoPro on like all your games?
Oh yeah.
Go back.
Guys got quite a memory. Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
You guys had peaches on, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Man,
I haven't listened yet, but was that like a 4-hour podcast?
6.5 actually.
Testing memory.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, it's such a memory.
Talk about a photographic memory.
Yeah. Him and Marty. Marty was amazing as well.
Todd Martin. Yeah. It was both of them. It's like I don't know. Like I have a good memory and everything, but I mean they're way better than me.
Yeah, Google's an amazing thing.
Right down to the count. Right down to the count, the weather, everything.
Yeah, exactly.
2 kilometers an hour from the southwest. I threw a rise ball. It was a 3-2 count.
Anyway, back to you. 2009, you get to play at the ISF Worlds on home soil in Saskatoon. where you guys took home the bronze medal. What do you recall about that event?
Well, just having it on home soil. It'd been 5 years since the previous World, so I think the veterans were definitely super keen and eager to get to that event. There was a lot of local flavor on that team, like Dino and Itzy, Keith McIntosh. So, there's just a lot of energy there. A lot of families traveled to support us. And it really was kind of, we knew that event was going to be one of the final events with this big core of really great ball players from a bunch of different countries, like Canada, like that generation of player, like the Dino generation, the Marty generation. We knew that that was going to be their last Worlds, and we knew that the Black Sox were super stacked and kind of getting a little later in their career. That it's probably the last matchup of these generation of ball players. So tons of anticipation there. And just the support throughout the week was just amazing. Like, we felt like rock stars in you see how a World Cup of hockey is covered in Canada. It felt like that on the local stage with the media coverage and newspaper coverage and everything like that. So I just remember, as guys like Lolly and I were 25, 26-ish, and our first World, and you kind of pinch yourself at a moment where you're facing the Black Sox, and having seen Canada New Zealand rivalries in the past, and facing a guy like Fulcard and his amazing ISF debut like that. So it definitely wasn't the finish that we wanted, but for us young guys, it was a huge learning experience, and I think springboarded us for future success.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunate for the older guys on the team that we weren't able to get that gold with them, but great memories either way.
Right on. Now, I read on your Locked In Mental Training page, and we'll definitely get into more of your Locked In Mental Training. That you went through some anxiety disorder that took over years of your life, and you lost your spot on the national team. Was it around this time that started coming into play for you?
Yeah, a little bit before, actually. I would say as far as like my World's performance, I wouldn't chalk it up to living up to my potential, but I traveled. I graduated university in 2006, and that winter I traveled to Australia to play some ball, and ended up getting set up with a team in Melbourne. It was actually a Tangaroa brother, if you know the name of Chuck Tangaroa's family.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't end up working out, and ended up doing some travel and playing out in Perth a little bit. The following winter, played out in New Zealand during the winter, and was fortunate enough to be on the team with Brad Rona and Jared Martin. So that was pretty awesome to pair up with those guys. And but I found just coming back from that experience and just not having kind of a clear vision as to what I was going to do next, and I just had some uncertainty in life, and kind of came in around that time, and it kind of took over my life for a number of years. That looking back, it's probably one of the things that has strengthened me the most over time is just learning and going through that experience, and studying and really digging into things that otherwise wouldn't have, just because out of necessity to get on the right side of things. But so I would say it was on kind of both sides of both my ball performance and then just kind of the mental side. My ball performance is definitely dipping after that 2009 World, to the point where I think it was like after the maybe 2011 or 2010 Nationals, Don Bates was the head coach at the time, and he said, "Listen, I want to set you up with Dave Petkow out in Abbotsford, which is about an hour drive from where I am. He's he's a renowned hitting coach. He was hitting coach with the women's team and stuff like that, and I think we could work on a few things. And that was the best thing that ever happened on the ball side, was to pair up with a guy like that who understands the game and hitting inside and out and can explain it on a very easy to understand level, and kind of just rebuilt my swing to become more of an all fields hitter, and just got those fundamentals back. So I would say I was able to start rebuilding the physical side of my game, and the mental side was just always kind of a work in progress, until I started to feel like I got a better handle on things, probably leading into 2015, where we had that great success. But it's always an evolutionary thing.
Well, since we're on the subject, we'll jump back to ball. Actually, tell us about Locked In Mental Training and what it entails.
Yeah, for sure. So I've developed a 6-week online mental training program that's a guided experience for 42 straight days for athletes to go through. And the goal of it is on a very kind of down to earth, and not using a bunch of jargon or anything like that, but down to earth approach to learning a bit about our minds and psychology. We live our lives through our minds. Everything we see and everything we kind of judge or experience, we live through our minds. And so just kind of educating individuals about how it works, where some of these thought patterns come from, and how to navigate when we do get into some negative thought patterns, negative feelings. Integrate some mindfulness meditation, which I was inspired by reading Phil Jackson's book, 11 Rings, where, you as a sports person, I connect with stories of sports. And so understanding how he was able to integrate kind of that Zen approach, but more on just a down to earth, easy to understand basis as to, okay, this can actually help me better understand myself, my mind, and how I can apply it to sport. And from there, working on some ways to kind of look at some of those challenging thoughts or thought patterns that we have, and looking at them from different angles, while also just addressing some of the common things that we run into in sport, like how can we work through slumps? How can we work through fear of failure, or fear of what others are thinking, whether it's teammates or opponents or parents or whatever. So I wanted to, for a while, to be able to teach what I've learned in this area, and came across the concept of an online program where it's guided, and users can kind of access it very easily through their phone or whatever, and be able to share these learnings in an effort not only to help those that may be struggling a little bit, but also those who just want to take their mental game to the next level and just understand themselves a bit better.
Right on. That's awesome, Mayse. And any of our listeners that want to check that out, they can go to it's lockedinmentaltraining.com, is it?
Yes. Yeah, that's it.
Right awesome. On. So any of our listeners, if if that's something you want to get into, hit Mayse up. All right, before we move on, let's talk about a deal that you, our listeners, can take advantage of with Locked In Mental Training. Do you want to unleash your athletic potential? Well, you can master your mental game with a 6-week guided online program developed by Canadian men's national team member Derek Mayson, so you can let go and let your talents flow. All you have to do is go to lockedinmentaltraining.com to register. If you do so right now and enter the promo code OTCPOD, you'll receive 10% off your registration. What are you waiting for? Take advantage of this great offer and unlock your potential. Again, that's OTCPOD, all one word, and receive 10% off. Take ownership of your mental game. So we'll get back to, I'm going to jump to 2003. You said things started clicking around 2015, but I'm thinking maybe 2013, because you'd be named to 3 All World teams in a row with the California A's based out of Bakersfield. How did your time with the A's come about?
So the Grey Sox came to an end, I believe it was 2009. We had great sponsors out here, and Larry Kantz and Conrad Margolis, and it was just time. It's a long way to travel to send a team back east a number of times each year. The expenses were climbing, so I think I went to the Nationals one year with 2010 with the South Hill Giants here, which were a lot of leftover Grey Sox. But with the Cali team, that was a connection to, I think it was Jason Porto that reached out. He's connection through some tournaments and stuff like that, and kind of connected to some of the local guys here, and awesome opportunity to continue to play high ball. And to be honest, until that point of my career, I think I'd only played in California once. We went down to Palm Springs with the Grey Sox, and there's a good caliber of ball down there. There's a decent number of teams, and it's only a 2.5 hour flight. Like, hey, same time zone, of course, let's do that.
Yeah,
and you get to go to California.
Yeah, exactly.
Summer.
Yeah.
All right, sign me up.
Yeah, exactly.
And that really began for me, it was, I guess, 6 or 7 years of one of the tightest knit teams that I've ever been a part of. That was the biggest thing for Ron Guzman, who's the main sponsor there and organizer, was, this is, no one's more than the team here. We're going to do things as a team. We're going to socialize as a team, and we're going to play good ball, and we're going to have fun. And it was just an absolute pleasure to get introduced to that group and really grow close to those guys over the years.
Right. Any good stories from your time with them
that you're allowed to tell?
I did tell you there was Jason Porto that recruited me, right? So yeah, there's definitely some stories. Palazzo joined the crew a little while later, and so there's a lot of entertainment from the crew. And I don't know if I have anything, one specific one I can tell you, but a lot for after hours.
That's fair.
I think.
That's fair.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And we'll take a commercial break.
So, what did it mean to you personally to get back on the national team in 2014?
That was just, I basically come to a crossroads a few years earlier, not being selected for the 2013 team. That was probably the first time I'd been cut for a team in my life. And for me, it was a chance to look in the mirror and go, okay, I'm at that point 29. I've played one Worlds, and am I happy with that, or am I going to continue to dedicate myself to this and get back at it? And I chose the latter, and really continued on both sides, the physical side, the mental side. And so previous to 2015, we went to Argentina. That was my first time back on. Mm-hmm. That was the qualifier for the Worlds. And, played well there, had a good tournament, and really felt like I was back, like I could play at that level. I was comfortable at that level, and really proved at that event that I had brought my game back to where it needed to be. And then to get named to that Worlds team and be back where I started in my Worlds career back in Saskatoon, it was full circle, and it meant so much.
Proud moment for sure.
Yeah. 2015 was, for Team Canada was absolutely huge. You guys would win the Pan Am Gold and the ISF Worlds. Maybe walk us through those events if you could.
For sure. Yeah. So we got to Prince Albert ahead of the Worlds, and had a couple exhibition games there, and really started to gel as a group. The challenge with the national team is, especially in a country like ours, it's so spread out that you don't get a lot of time to bond as a team. And we were fortunate that year with the Pan Am Games and some extra funding from the Pan Ams that we actually, I think we had 2 events out in I want to say Ontario. That one was a training camp, like just with the team, and one we actually just went out there for some team bonding, some team strategy sessions and stuff like that. It was like the first ball trip I'd ever taken. Like, leave the ball gear at home. Like, we're gelling as a team here, and I think that really played a role in the long run that summer of just being so comfortable with each other. And Coach Stewart and the rest of the coaching staff there, what they did so well going into the events was just make everyone's role very clear. It, in a round robin, everyone's going to get their action, and, everyone's going to sit a game at least, sort of thing. But come playoffs, whoever's going is going. And looking at that world, to be a part of so many amazing performances and amazing moments. Obviously, the Mulally performance in the final stands out more than anything, as it should.
Have we talked about that on
Sean? I'm not talking about it now. That's all we do is talk about Lolly. Fuck him.
What's his name?
Don't even know the guy.
But I feel like that was, Sean Cleary's not coming out party as an absolute superstar in the sport, but it was just cementing his legacy as an all-time great.
Yeah, for sure.
And the dominant pitcher of that year, and on down the list. But as far as the event, what I remember personally, I'd been in a car accident on my honeymoon the year before, and never really had any sort of repercussions from that, anything like that. But I woke up one day in the middle of that tournament. I was rooming with Sanford, and I couldn't lift my head off the pillow. Like, I was just locked in place, and like shooting pains down my spine and my shoulders. Like, I don't know what's going on here. So somehow pride myself. I think Sandy winched me off the bed down to meeting her breakfast or whatever. And I think I was out 3 days at least, and put our training staff through the ringer of trying to get me back into working shape. And I think my first game back was the playoffs, but it was just super rewarding to be able to get back, be healthy.
Yeah,
huge thanks to the training staff of ours, and be able to contribute in the playoff round.
Yeah. Are you sure Sandy didn't wrestle you? Because I've witnessed Sandy wrestle numerous times, especially against Goob, right? Patrick Stewart.
Yeah.
They can attest to that for sure. Goob always says he wins, but Sandy wins every time. Screw you, Goob. That's why your neck was sore.
I don't know if Sandy said more than like 10 words all week as a roomie.
Yeah.
Definitely low maintenance, high quality roomie right there.
Yep, 100%. I think the best thing about the Pan Am game win was the fact that, both you guys and the women's were able to pull off gold. I think that's just an amazing feat.
Yeah. And to be able to be in the athletes village and kind of share those stories amongst athletes and stuff like that, it was amazing to be in, what they call Canada House. And early in the week when we're playing our round robin games and stuff like that, we'd see somebody walking through with their gold medal. They just won a gold and say BMX biking or volleyball or something like that. And just this overall Team Canada experience of everyone rooting each other on, supporting each other, hanging out at the ping pong tables and stuff like that. And those are the kind of behind the scenes memories that we all cherish and value that, you're not going to get anywhere else.
No,
absolutely.
I do remember from that. So within the athletes village, they had all sorts of different amenities for athletes. You could go pick up a smoothie when you want. And obviously the food was outstanding, but they had a barber shop as well. So me and Ian Fairman, Opie, we go, okay, we need to get trimmed up. It's been a few weeks on the road here. So we go down there, and he goes first in the chair. And he says to the guy, like, just regular trim, whatever, like number one. And first swipe of the clippers just right down to the skin, like halfway up his head. And I snapped a picture at that time, and just Opie's eyes are bugging out of his head, and he's like, "Was that a number one?" The guy's like, "Yeah." So it turns out, like, he looked like, I don't know, Fresh Prince by the end of it. Like, he barely had any hair on top of his head, and his sides were completely shaved in this massive fade. I've never seen Sean Cleary laugh so much in my life. I sent that picture out to the team.
Oh, that's a great story.
Love that stuff.
Oh, that's fantastic. I want to jump onto the Sook Loggers now. You guys won back-to-back silvers at the last two nationals. Aside from the obvious of, having to beat the Noofs, what do you think is the one thing that you guys need to get over the hump?
Well, I think, it takes time, and you've seen it in all sorts of different sports, and you actually saw it with this Newfoundland crew before they got there first a while ago, was, it takes some learning experiences to understand what it takes to go in with that belief and swagger that, yes, you can do it. We can do it. And, just taking a few lumps along the way and just learning your lessons and understanding how deep you have to dig to be able to find what you need. And, I think this group is definitely learning that. It's a mature group. It's a veteran group that takes it very seriously as far as the work they put in. They're very passionate about the game. I was super happy to be asked to go with them in 2018. I think that was my first nationals in about 5, 6, 7 years or something like that. So to be able to get back on that stage and make such a great run with them was a great learning and bonding experience for the team. And I think we're just unfortunate not able to continue the momentum a little bit this year, but the fire is there with the group, and the hope is to continue that momentum. And it's a tough task to unseat the champs. They've won a gazillion in a row, or a gazillion out of -1 for a number of years for a reason. They're so damn deep and passionate. So I do think that we have the pieces. We added Brian Avery last year, which was an awesome ad. And I think we're right there. It was a hell of a game in the finals. And man, I mean, that was the performance for the ages by the Nukes on Sunday, and rightful champions.
Yeah, for sure. It's fine. We talked to a couple of the Nukes in regards to, it took them a while to get there, like you mentioned, and it does take time, and you gain experience, and you learn the ins and outs and what you have to do to win and how to be prepared. And some of the Nukes actually that we spoke to about that said that, the team, the Sook Loggers are that team coming through now, that it's getting close. Like, you can tell from the past number of nationals that they're knocking on the door for sure. So it's an exciting team to watch. I enjoy watching BC play. I hate playing against you guys, but you certainly do have a good ball team for sure. Good bunch of guys too.
Definitely. And I think, that kind of goes hand in hand in this sport with, teams that excel. Typically you're with a group of guys that, you would say is a good group of guys.
Yeah.
That is, you don't really run into a whole lot of assholes in our sport, and don't really run into a whole lot of teams that overall, right. You would really want to run through the fence. But it's a great rivalry. We've obviously had some close acquaintances on the diamonds, we'll say, in the last couple of years.
St. Croix.
Tensions get a little high, but it's with Kyle Cowick. So I played with him last year. But last ISC year with Kegel, and so he was obviously in the heart of that battle in Nova Scotia with Newfoundland, and we were playing Hill United, and it was like a high tag on Nico Carrillo, I think, and bench is clear again. I remember it was someone from the Newfoundland team, and they're yelling, "It's always you, Cowie. It's always you."
Yeah.
I don't know what you mean. The ball, it led me up the line.
Shit stain.
That's amazing.
Love it.
That's hilarious. Anyway, well, let's move on to thing we always do here on the podcast is player association. I'm sure you've heard it before, Mayse. I'll throw out a player, and you can say as much or as little about them as you want.
Got it.
All right. First one is Nick Underhill.
Ooh. Unit, I guess. He's probably one of the only guys I've seen in ball need to have like custom made sleeves for his jerseys. Like, he is just an absolute workout machine, and just threw a bowling ball of a drop ball. Never too fun facing him, especially on a cold, rainy Vancouver day. I remember Kelly McGiffin telling a story about him of 2003 Pan Am event in San Domingo, and he said if anyone has thrown 90 miles an hour in the world, it was Nick Underhill striking out the side. It was like bowling over the catcher. I think it was either Obi or Craw or something like that, like bowling him over with drop ball. Yeah,
amazing.
That's awesome. Next on the list is Chad Ghostkeeper.
Ghosty, rise ball, just destroyer. Like I've got to know Ghosty a little bit, and just talking to some of his teammates about how he'd set people up for that rise ball. Like he'd essentially say early in the count that you can throw 2 drop balls right down the middle if you want. I'm waiting for a waste pitch rise ball, and you could get up 0-2 on him and throw that rise ball, and he would absolutely annihilate it. So the other one I remember about him is we had a guy in our 07 team and around that era on our team named Kevin Smiley. And so Ghosty's dad came on the trip, and Ghosty's dad says to Smiley, he says, "Kevin, I love your last name. It's super unique." And Smiley goes to him and says, "Mr. Ghostkeeper, your last name is Ghostkeeper. I don't think I have the most unique last name in this conversation. Yours is pretty cool."
Shit, that's amazing.
That's good shit.
That's a good one. All right. Next on the list is Nathan Nuku.
Nooks, just I've never seen so much power come from this little guy. He swings a 30-ounce bat. At least that's what it says on it. I'd have to ask Nate if he's ever had any adjustments done. But I've picked it up. I played with him a few times. It's a heavy bat, but man, the torque and bat speed and just the perfect home run trajectory swing he has. I've been in events. I think there was one in New Zealand where it was a 3-day event. He had 12 home runs. Like, it was ridiculous. The hot streaks he would get on. Just an absolute fearsome hitter.
Awesome. Next is Waymo Mata.
Mr. Mata. Well, just hard gas, man.
Yeah.
I know his brother a little better just from having played with him, and I did get the chance to play with Waymo with the Twins at the ASAs a couple of years ago, and huge respect for the guts he showed there. There was one game, I think Malali might have talked to him.
Oh, right. That's right too.
Blown out.
Yeah.
And Lolly challenged him. He said, "Don't you quit. Don't you quit." And to his credit, he kept her going. And he just kept that ascent going from his junior days into that 2019 season, which was so magical for him to go on, obviously, the World's run, the Pan Am run, and the ISC finals. Like, he's definitely at or near the top of that echelon. And, man, he can swing it too.
Yep, for sure. All right, last one is a friend of the show, Blake Hunter.
I knew you were going to ask about Hunter.
Well,
Say something bad.
Yeah, say something bad. About
Come on, bad.
Yeah.
Come on, bad.
I would say, well, he's a horrible beer garden dresser. He's got like these Daisy Duke shorts and hideous cowboy boots, and I think he throws in a straw hat. It's just absolutely, it's tough to see. Like being a veteran player on some of the teams, I think I need to provide a little more guidance to him on that. But for him, it's determination, man. That he kind of touched on it when he came on, but after the 2015 season, he came to me and said, "No, I want to be on the next World team. I'll do whatever it takes. I want you to help me. I know there's something that I could improve in my swing, but can you help me out?" And so Blake lives on Vancouver Island. It's not just a short drive over. You got to hop a ferry and come on over. So full credit to him. He came over 2-3 times in the off season, and we went to the cage and worked on a few things. And in between, he would send me video, and I'd kind of send a little feedback to him. And he put in so much work to become the hitter he is today. So huge amount of dedication, professionalism to the craft. So tons of respect for Blake as a teammate and a ball player.
Awesome.
Right on. Well, Mayse, gotta thank you for coming on. I mean, coming on, talking about your career, which has been amazing and still going.
Yes, sir.
Best of luck with your business there with Locked In Mental Training. And, again, thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you, guys. This was great. Great to chat ball. You guys are doing a great thing here, and really look forward to seeing the episodes every week.
Awesome, Mayse. Hope we see you in St. John's this summer. Maybe.
Yes, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Stay safe, boys.
Okay,
right,
pal.
buddy.
Take care. Thank you very much.
Take care, Mayse.
All right. All the best.
See you, pal.
Bye.
All right. Wicked.
Yeah, so good.
Another beauty.
Yeah, we're very lucky, aren't we?
Oh.
Yeah, privileged almost.
Privileged, yeah. To talk to all these, great ball players all over the world. It's
and I think I said this a long time ago. I've played against Mayse and I've coached when he was playing for BC. Mm-hmm. You don't really know these guys.
Yeah.
But when you get to talk to them, Mayse said earlier, not everybody's an asshole you play against, or they're not all assholes or whatever. Yeah. I don't know these guys. Yeah. And you think in your head, God, that guy's good. He's probably an asshole. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But everybody that we have spoken with, I got to say, like, genuine, good, friggin' fast pitch family, and I love it. Mm-hmm. I love every second of it.
100%.
Yeah.
So,
except for you.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Except for me. And it's going to be funny, going forward, when get to go to...
If we get to see anybody, yeah.
Going to other nationals and, down the line, we're going to see players that we're going to be like, that guy's a dick, but I bet you he's pretty cool. I bet
he's a good guy.
That's right.
That guy's so good, he's probably a dick.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm just kidding.
But,
yeah.
Anyway, no, like you said, we're definitely privileged.
Yeah.
Anyway, buddy.
Yeah, Randy, another good one, bud.
Yes, sir.
Take care, and all you people out there, remember to social distance, wear your mask, and wash your hands, and let's get back on the ball field.
Yes, sir.
Cheers, everyone.
Classified.
Oh, here we go again. Mike's pissed off. Rhyme for a year, think he's all hip hop.
Well, excuse me, please, Mr. 10-year veteran. It looks like the fame might be going to your head again. Look, I had it up to here, always talking me down, bossing me round, scared I'm taking your crown.
Not even in the slightest.
Yeah, we'll see.
Man, you wouldn't write shit if it wasn't for me. You would have no CDs, no free beats, no trips. You ain't grateful for none of that shit.
Wait, run it back, kid. You ain't paid me a buck. Why you think I never ever had money for that stuff?
Cause you can't keep a job.
Man, neither can you.
I left home in 98, mom, pa's still your crew. Fuck it, I'll get personal, put it in perspective. Grew up with a silver spoon, never learned a lesson. Everything was handed to you.
That wasn't my choice. Mom and dad only had enough money to put in one boy. And that's me. More skill, more sick, more ill, more spit, more flow. Let's go, no joke.
No, bro, let me tell him how it really is. I'm more ill, more balanced, more real, and more talent.
We constantly have these rivalries. We constantly have these rivalries. We constantly have these rivalries.
singer, man. I thought you were an MC.
Yeah, I spit raw and sing a smooth melody. I'm multi-talented, you stick to the basics. You find what you're good at and never ever change
Yeah, I
it.
found what I'm good at. I'll say I got a formula, still keep it fresh. Not the same old boring stuff every day you call, though.
Bro, you're the sickest. Just give me a beat, man. Come on, I'll fucking rip it.
Some things never change.
Yeah, I'm still getting hand-downs. Just got my first pair of hammer pants now.
You a second-rate rapper.
What? Getting better? Cause I rhyme for a year and your boys think I'm better?